Restoring Illinois to greatness. This is Illinois Rising, presented by the Illinois Opportunity Project and hosted by AM 560's Dan Proft.
Joe back with Mark on this installment of Illinois Rising. And Mark, kind of amusing, also though kind of troubling story out of Chicago City Wire, which is one of the papers that Dan Proft runs. Alderman Brendan Reilly in the 42nd Ward, so that's downtown, Streeterville, River North area, has some interesting campaign expenditures. And I'm sure that there are other aldermen or state reps who have a long list of peculiar campaign expenditures, but Reilly's have a familiar theme involved in all of them. Between July 1st of this year and September 30th, 8 tabs at Boss Bar in the River North area that Brendan Reilly had, varying between $101, $276, $195, $231, hundreds of dollars he spent, covering over $4,000 of his political expenditures. That's quite a bit to spend at a bar if you're an alderman from your campaign account. And then on top of that, looking further at his campaign spending, you got another $8,000 that he spent on quote-unquote meetings, which included $2,000 for 15 meals at Chicago Cut Steakhouse, which is a very nice establishment. Another $400 at 312 Chicago. These are all restaurants downtown. More bills at the Berghoff Tavern on Rush, which is owned by John Cullerton, Petterino's, Sienna Tavern, the Whiskey Bar, Randolph Tavern. All these nicer places in the Loop in River North, Streeterville area, spending thousands of dollars. It's funny, but it's also kind of troubling. And I don't know how much his constituents of any alderman or state rep that does this sort of thing, pay attention to or really care, but it's very questionable at the very least.
Yeah, like you said, it's something that's concerning because it's indicative. One, it's concerning on its face, and two, it's concerning because it's indicative of the respect and the respect you hold that money that's been given to you to shepherd and use for your reelection campaign. So if that's how he's using that money, I can't imagine he has particular qualms about using the property tax dollars that he's overseeing from taxpayers. And you've seen this in other instances too. You had Frank Martino a couple years ago, who is under investigation for spending money illegally at a gas station repair shop in his district. And so, this is another, I guess, interesting use of campaign spending.
Yeah, that's a good point, because if you're going to spend your campaign money that way, money that people have given to you because they believe in your cause or your vision, or I guess in the case of aldermen, if they can, do something for you, then how are you going to spend tax dollars when it's not a personal, somebody wrote you a check? It's just this pool that Brendan Reilly is playing with. That's what's troubling. Frank Martino is another good example. And I'm pretty sure if you looked into aldermen all across the city and state reps all across Springfield, you might find more of this because we see how they spend our tax dollars.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so, you can look at campaigns and the money that they spend and say, okay, this is a fiscally responsible conservative person who pinches pennies. And I can assume that if they're doing that in their campaign world, then they're more apt to do that when they're down in Springfield or in Chicago. And, there's less oversight or a different kind of oversight there, but we know the approach and the view they have on these things.
Yeah, character matters not because I care what somebody does in their personal life so much if they're going to go to elected office, but it's indicative of the kind of decisions you make. I don't think people care about, say, infidelity comes up in politics all the time. I don't think people actually care about the politician's personal life in that way, but it says if you're going to cheat on your spouse, what are you going to do to your constituents? And this is the same kind of thing. If you're going to spend campaign money this way, money that people have given you and entrusted to you to use in public service, what are you going to do with taxpayer money? What are you going to do with your voting record? And I think in the case of Brendan Reilly and a lot of other aldermen, we've found out over the last several years what exactly they're trying to do.